Nice to see you, son. Nice to see you, son. Okay, quick look at Lierey's base. This isn't bad. This isn't bad. Alright guys, welcome to Game 7. This is the final game of a best of 7 between Liereyy and Viper. Now, prior to this event starting, chat seems to think that Viper would win 4-0 or win 4-1. But guess what? Liereyy actually had the lead in this series, and Viper's the one who had to come back and take it to this stage. They only have 1 civ remaining, and for Liereyy, it is Spanish, and it is Indians for Viper. And let's go. Let's do this. For what it's worth, Liereyy also has a re, so if he doesn't like his map or doesn't like his start, he can use that. Viper does not. Viper does not. And unfortunately, there was some trouble starting the game, so I just had to say the same thing like 4 times in a row. It was the best thing that came to mind, and I stuck with it, chat. So, let's look at Lierey's map. He has main gold very close to the TC. It is forward, though, but I think he can work with this one. The stone's on the back, which is perfect as Spanish, so you can go for conquistadors at some stage. Also, there's a huge wall potential for him. He can wall here, wall in a stone and an extra gold. He can wall off this easily, and then just one big wall in front of his main gold, and he's golden. Viper, he has a lot more water action than his woods, and that is not good. So I think he's going to have a disadvantage with the map at least, though I do think he has an advantage with the civilization. He has a secondary gold in the back, stone in the back, and a forward main gold. The trouble for Viper later on could be that he has this gold forward, but a lot of action will have to unfold. Okay, so Indians. What's cool about Indians? They go with camels and castle age, and they're incredibly strong camels. They're the best camels in the game now. You got to get to castle age and have a healthy economy to really use them. And I think that Indians can almost always do that because their villas are cheaper. For those that don't know, you can see on the top left right now, villas cost 10% less now, 15 in feudal, 20 in castle, 25 in imp. And that means he can go for earlier uptimes, be more aggressive with more resources. And oftentimes you'll see players go with scouts with Indians because it's a very easy build to pull off with the cheap villas and extra food. But maybe he won't, because Liereyy might go for man-at-arms. The Spanish is a tower rush man-at-arms civilization. Or it's pretty much a scouts and full stone wall civilization, if we're talking meta. So it all comes down to this here. Who will win the final game? What will the strategy choices be? We will see. I think Viper... If Liereyy gets Conquistador on Viper's map, it can be so tough for him. He can't lock this down easily. Indians don't go for their unique unit in the castle, so it's hard to justify castle defense. So, Conquistadors, they can run behind the wood lines and the ponds. There's a lot of open area for them to run free. It's saying that it's always tough to get the Conquistador as well, so Liereyy will have to have some victories to be able to go to stone for that long to get a castle up. Can Liereyy accept the scout war here? I think what I would do if I'm Liereyy, and granted I'm no pro, is I would probably go with either scouts or man-at-arms, and then I wall like a madman. If he walls this off, he can easily wall in front of his base, so I think he needs to get some early map control and wall. Now, Lierey's experienced on what to do against Spanish. We saw it multiple times in KOTD. The one time he played Hart and he was Byzantines, and Hart did exactly what I said. I believe, if my memory's correct, he went with scouts, only 4 of them, and then ended up going for stone walls and conquistadors. And Liereyy just went aggressive and forward in him. And Viper would probably do the same if Liereyy chose to do that. And he'd probably take control of this hill, or he would abuse this side where the extra resources are. I mean, the walls are going to help Liereyy, but to do that now would be a waste of time. He would get sniped by Viper Scout, and that's a lot of walling to complete. So for now, it looks like he will go for man-at-arms. While Viper, because he's Indians, and he banks up so much food, he's clicked up on 19 villagers, 20 population, and this definitely seems like scouts to me. The Viper will have a nice, strong early advantage. See, that's why I think Indians are strong. It's not necessarily the camels. It's the fact that their villas are so cheap. And that adds up like you wouldn't believe. Oh. Remember what I said. Towers and man-at-arms. Viper's looking for that possibility. He's thinking, huh, I wonder if there's going to be any villagers going forward to tower me. Oh, well, don't see any. You know, no big deal. Oh, there's villagers. Now he spots it, and he was looking for it. He knows now. He's going to be forwarded. Lierey's going to go for man-at-arms and towers, and there's really nothing that can handle man-at-arms this early in Feudal Age. Viper will have to mass scouts, and then he's going to have to add some ranged units at some point. Viper's going to have to first send villagers out to enter this conflict. 5 villagers versus 4 villagers and 3 man-at-arms. This is how you stop a tower rush, ladies and gentlemen. You use your own vills. You have to stop them from placing the first tower. This is a perfect response from Viper. Remember, Viper's in Feudal Age. He's creating scouts at the moment. His spear, not going to find Lierey's scout. Lierey's just running with villagers. If Liereyy can't get the first tower up, it's a waste of time, and Viper's only going to get free hits with his scouts. So this is going to be tough. It's going to be messy. Man-at-arms is coming in. Liereyy has decent HP on his man-at-arms, but his villagers are exposed here. Let's see how the man-at-arms do. We're just going to see a trade with villagers, I think. Good lord. You want to know why I don't like forwarding tactics. It's so tough to play this way. Look at Viper distracting with the 3 HP scout. Getting free hits with his villagers. Okay, he's lost his scout now. But I think this is way better for Viper, honestly. Viper will probably send his vills back soon, but he has pushed his opponent away from his base. And that's exactly what Liereyy does not want now. He doesn't want Viper to come counterattacking him. Viper's not finished. This Vill's weak. Viper's going to block here so he can focus down this weak Vill with the spears. Viper's still chasing with villagers, by the way. This Vill's still weak. I think Liereyy will lose 2 Vills. This Vill and then this Vill right here. At some point, this is going to die. Viper's going to go right in for it. I guess not. So here's an honest question. Why is Viper still here with villagers? He's actually had more idle time than Liereyy now. I assume he wants to stay here now, right? He ran across the whole map when he didn't really need to. Why is he still fighting with Vills? He obviously thinks it's a good idea. He doesn't have food to create any more scouts. He wants to tower rush. The tower rusher. Trush the trusher. And both players are going to get their towers up. This tower will range the gold, but Lierey's tower will probably kill this. I love how Lierey's still using the spears to try and kill Viper's scouts and Viper's vills. Oh, Viper's going to lose a vill. He could lose 2 vills here. No, he didn't lose 2 vills. And Lierey's going to take this tower down now. At least I think so. It's so tough. It's tough to cast, but it's also tough to play. The Viper went forward, and that is proving to be a grave mistake. There's still man-at-arms here. Oh, Lierey's trapped. No, he has not trapped the vills, unfortunately. He went for it too late. Well defended by Liereyy. And this is the kind of messy game that Spanish can excel in, because the Indian player is unable to use their eco advantage. But still, because of the cheap vills, Viper actually has been able to create a few more back at home. He does have these villagers running back, and it's hard to calculate idle time with all this madness. But Viper now sees you can place palisade walls to see what your opponents are doing in certain areas, and he's placed palisade walls to see that, yep, Lierey's on stone. And that played right into Lierey's hands. Liereyy can just go tower defense now, boom to castle, and then hopefully go from Huilala for conquistadors. I think it's tough. Viper can still pick off some villagers. If there's weak vills here on stone, for example, Viper could actually see the HP of the vills, right? Yeah. I doubt he's looking, but if he gets lucky, you can see it. I think if Liereyy loses this game, it's because he doesn't wall this off. He didn't scout this earlier. He still doesn't have vision of how easy that wall off would be. Instead, he's building a lot of extra towers. That wastes a lot of resources. Gonna wall in his vills here. Scouts won't do anything for Viper. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of military from either player now. It's simply too much to invest. Viper will just stick with 3 scouts. No, we've seen it many times in this series, mainly from Liereyy, where Liereyy went for value. He would have a few scouts left and he would do a lot of damage with it. He did that versus Viper in the Slavs and, what was it? Slavs and Magyar War. Viper's at 400 food, 60 gold. His opponent is at 500 food, 400 gold. And he's collecting stone, which is what he wants to do. Now the big thing here is that Lierey's going to go for a unit he needs to build out of the castle. So he's going to hit Castle Age, and then he's going to need to build the castle. And then he can make military. And that takes some time. While Viper, when he hits Castle Age, he already has the stable, and he's going to be going with stable units. So Viper can attack earlier if the times are the same to Castle Age. Lierey's getting very close, and once this market completes, he'll probably click up. Viper shouldn't be able to do any damage with these scouts. And Viper's not too far behind, but Viper will be later. Well, let's see what Liereyy can do. Where will he build the castle? That's the question. Viper, does he see the weak villain here? I just wonder if he spotted that. Killed the man-at-arms. He's gonna try and go for some weak vills, no doubt about it. Viper's on his way to castle, about a minute behind. Oh, the weak vill's right there. Rip. Oh man, I knew he was going for it. That's what I'm talking about. It's impressive how much damage these guys do. Liereyy should have just walled in the vills. Liereyy should have walled here as well. He hasn't done so. It's a bit odd. I don't know if it's overconfidence. It seems like it's overconfidence. Like here, he's gonna lose another villager to Viper's scouts. These have no upgrades or anything. Well done from Viper. Viper has the vill lead now. I don't know if Viper has the lead in the game though. I'd say it's very close. We know Viper's gonna add those camels right away. Now Viper needs to keep his scouts alive, so he knows where the castle's gonna go up. I think the castle will go up in front of the golds. It could be more passive, possibly here or here, but I think in front of the gold would probably be best. Liereyy does have a Castle Age upgrade now, and he does have the castle on the way. And he should have enough time to get the castle up, forcing Viper around. But good lord, man. Wall this off. If he doesn't wall this off and he loses the game, that's a throw moment right there. This is already stonewalled. Why have you not walled this off? He has the time as well. There's only one scout. He has a spear if he's scared of the scout. He should be walling this off. At this level, players wall this off, and he hasn't done so. It all started with the lack of scouting, right? So that was a big issue. Big Dog, welcome. You made it to Game 7. The other games were amazing as well. You can always watch the VOD afterwards. I'm a little bit frustrated with Liereyy for not walling, but still, he hit Castle Age first. He can make conquistadors. I talked about it in the early game. Viper is so vulnerable to conquistador attack. He has started to wall, but conks can kill the palisade walls anyhow. And Viper's running out of resources anyways. Where's the next TC going to be for Liereyy? Where is he going? TC here on the wood line. The spearman goes down. Not a big deal for Liereyy. Well, this is going to go to Imp. I'm pretty sure it's going to go to Imp. No one is over-investing into attack. So we are going to see the Imperial Age compositions. It's just a matter of doing as much damage as possible to your opponents in Castle Age, so their Imperial Age is weaker. With these civs, you're rarely going to see an all-in Castle Age, especially with the way this is set up. Should Viper go Monks? Well, Monks aren't a bad idea. In fact, they have 9 range, so they can counter the Conquistadors quite well. The problem is, once a Conquistador is massed, the Monks are really difficult to control. I'm quite surprised that Viper's gone for 2 monasteries. I think that this is going to double as defensive, but also to get the relics as fast as possible, because he thinks this is going late game. If Camel's getting close, if he were to have researched husbandry, he could chase down the conquistadors, but I think he knows that once the conquistadors snowball, it just makes it too difficult. Who has post-imp advantage? Well, it really depends on what they have the ability to research. I think Spanish, he's going to stick with the conquistadors. He's already invested into that. The conquistadors died to Imperial Camel from Indians. But Spanish get full trash upgrades. So it's hard to say. And then Indians get gunpowder to kill the halberdiers, so... I think if I'm thinking ahead to compositions, Elite Conquistador, Halb, and Siege for Liereyy, Heavy Camel, Skirmisher for Viper, and I think Heavy Camel, Skirmisher wins. But it's not like Lierey's making any mistakes right now. He can't overinvest into attack and give Viper an opportunity to counterattack. Viper's build lead's probably going to grow simply because he's Indians, and he has an overpowered bonus that gives him basically a free boom. Like, we say free boom a lot, and that means that they're just letting someone boom. But his vills are so cheap. It's like he got them at Ollie's or something. They're so discounted right now. And that's why he's gone to... Well, he has 4 town centers now. A very nice conversion there from Viper. This is why Indians aren't good in competitive play. They can be countered pretty easily, I think, once you get to Imp. And most players, they can hold long enough where the snowball of conquistadors don't do anything. And conquistadors are very expensive. You know, in comparison to another civ, the Burmese now, they make the Erembai, but the Burmese have some incredible eco bonuses. So Burmese get free lumber camp upgrades, and I mean that's enough of an eco bonus already, and then they get some other strong options. Spanish really don't have any huge bonuses. Oh, Viper, he sees this. Lierey's gonna go for the conversions. This is not as good as Viper would have wanted, I'm sure, but how many conversions will he get here? He's gotten 2, maybe 3, has not gotten 3. I mean, that's kind of my point. That's as good as it gets for Liereyy, right? It's as good as it gets, and he lost units to the camels and to the monks. The Viper has a few more villagers now, both getting husbandry at the same time. Liereyy will complete his a little bit earlier, so he'll be a little bit faster for about half a second here. And like I said, the camels hold up really well versus conquistadors. That's without chain barding armor, which you can get in castle. Just imagine once the Imperial Age defense upgrade comes in. Yeah, Ollie's is a discount outlet store in the US. Yes, if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry. Just the first thing that came to mind. Viper is securing himself for late game. He, this is hilarious. He'd have to chop stone to get that relic. But he's stonewalled. He's gonna castle so he can protect this gold. This gold's actually right next to him. He doesn't see that yet. And I think that with the walls that Liereyy has placed, the way he's played this, it's been smart, but for Imperial, it leaves him vulnerable to attack on the outer edges. While Viper has covered a lot more surface area with his boom, and has a lot more important resources in his walls. 1, 2 golds, has the stone. This stone's unfortunate, sure, but he'll have the relics, and this gold too. So can he do it? Can Liereyy do it? He's behind in population. He's going to be out-teched in military. That's just simply my opinion. We'll see what happens once Liereyy builds the other castle. Oh, I love this castle position. I love this castle position because I just talked about the vulnerability of this gold. Viper's going to click to imp first. Viper has a lot of monks for conquistadors. They can still be used in the Imperial Age. Liereyy just not getting wheelbarrows. A little bit later than you normally see it, but I think he wanted to keep the conquistador numbers up. Let's see it. Yeah, Liereyy using the market a little bit. He knows he needs to rush to imp. And there you go. So here's the difference. Indians have a direct bonus on the camels already. So when Viper starts getting upgrades on them, he has an additional upgrade for free. Then it's only 300 food and 300 gold to get heavy camel. And heavy camel should be good enough for his conquistadors anyhow with the Indian camels. While Liereyy, cost-wise, to get Elite Conquistador, it's like 1,200 food, 600 gold, and then he's going to need to afford Halberdiers. So Indians have better options, and also Indians will have the cheaper options here. And I don't see this going very good for Liereyy. I could be wrong, but this is going to be extremely tough for him. The fights are going to have to go heavily in his favor. Not to mention that Viper still has a cheaper boom now if he wants to boom up. Not to mention that Viper will have this gold and the fact that he has monks to convert the Conquistadors. Liereyy has very limited options now. Viper has so much gold banked up. 2 castles now. Also snagged 1 relic. I wouldn't be surprised if he snags this one and this. Well, I guess he can't get that one because it's walled in, so never mind. The fight's gonna happen. Viper knows this castle is here. Liereyy does not know Viper has a base here. But he can probably assume that Viper has castles in these areas. This is the calm before the storm, ladies and gentlemen. Lierey's thinking, I'm going to attack. Oh, no, 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 no. Wow, that was a fast reaction time from Viper. Viper got 1 conversion. Liereyy wanted to attack, but, yeah, that is not the time to attack. This is honestly the first fight I will see Spanish versus Indians in the 5.7 update. So it's possible that the Halberdiers will carry a lot more weight here than they did previously. And that might have that might be in the back of Lierey's mind. It might also be in the back of Viper's mind here. Viper is going to get 12 range on his monks in a moment. You can see the monk upgrades, illumination, block printing coming in, and he's gonna force Liereyy to fight because he knows Liereyy is going for some expensive units that he needs time to upgrade. Now, another thing Indians can do, if there's Halberdiers, he can go for hand cannons, but Viper's going to have to research chemistry, start building those archery ranges, and here you go. I think that skirmishers would work quite well, too. Might try and do that. That really hurts the food count for you, but I think that'd be a nice move. And these castles are so important here. The heavy camel for Viper. Look at the defense on those things. Crazy, and Lierey's gonna lose a castle that he needs, well, not only for conquistadors, but for population space. He's already housed. The castle isn't even down. Viper getting a few conversions here and there. He's trying to push Liereyy more and more. Yeah, units are simply dying once they're converted now, which it doesn't really help Liereyy out either way. It's a kill. It's got to be the Halbs. If Lierey's going to win this, it has to be the Halbs. It's got to be the Halbs if Lierey's going to win this game, but there's so many monks behind. He can't approach this. Very wise move from Viper. He's researching Imperial Camel now. See, this is what I'm talking about. Indians, they're so strong. There's nothing Liereyy can do. Nothing Liereyy can do in this matchup. Even with Elite Conquistador, it's going to be very tough for him. It's going to be Elite Skirmisher, Imperial Camel. I'm being I'm being a real downer right now. Honestly, I'm not showing a lot of confidence in Liereyy. I'd love to see Liereyy prove me wrong here. The one thing is that maybe he can get the map control at the moment, get to this gold. But he's gonna be at risk of losing this one. Liereyy ran over here with some conquistadors. See, this is good. This is good. He has to use his mobility again. He's good at this. Use your conquistadors to hit eco. The problem is, now he's exposed. And these are now Imperial Camels. And Liereyy is receiving a lot more damage than he just pushed at Viper's base. The skirmishers are going to be here from Viper. They'll start killing the Halberdiers. The camels can just run away from the Halbs. And camels are killing Vills, and Liereyy cannot deal with that. Forced to send his conquistadors back. For a moment there, he patrolled into the house. A bit unfortunate. If he can kill the monks, that might help him out a lot here. You can see Viper's using them. A lot of these conquistadors are just dying. And let's see how the trades go with this new patch. The Viper's content with just fighting these as the skirmishers sit behind. 150 population to 150 population. That's a lot of resources invested to that upgrade for Viper to go Imperial Camel. And that's a lot of losses after the fact. Probably needed to hesitate a bit more. I think maybe run back or something. Use the skirmishers. Oh! Supremacy is coming in from Liereyy! Lierey's actually going to use Supremacy here. So, these villagers are going to rush down the trebuchets, and they're going to be tanky enough to kill the trebuchets. But Supremacy didn't complete yet. So, he's just losing their lives. He lost them all before Supremacy completed. He's just completed it, I guess. It's a bit too late. Did he actually research it? I guess he did. With these villagers dropping like flies, Lierey's losing population. Now the villagers come out. This is the correct time to send the vills. The vills are essentially Spanish hussars. I mean, it's good enough, right? The trebuchets should die here. The big problem now is that Lierey's getting starved out. Viper, I can see him moving around with the monk over here. You can see that Lierey's not on that gold. Viper has more villagers. Viper has had no idle time in his base. Viper also sees this gold as well. So Viper has an incredible position now. And with Imperial Skirm, with Elite Skirm and Imperial Camel, it's proving to be very tough for Liereyy. He is trying, and we saw that one game where both players came back multiple times. Is it possible for Liereyy here? Viper taking Lierey's gold now. He's sending Veils out to the stone so he can get that relic, Kappa. And he continues to scout around the map, looking for extra relics and extra resources. Lierey's in trouble. He doesn't have the numbers of eco. He doesn't have the numbers of military. Can he take a good fight? He's gonna have to send villagers. This doesn't help his economy, but it's worth it if you can win the fight. It's tough because there's no attack stance on villagers. You have to actually click them. Now he's gained the hill advantage. The villagers are acting as a great meat shield here, but now the Imperial Camels are coming in. At the same time, Viper's building up on this side to finish this one off and hit the economy from the other side. Liereyy with 21 idols. Liereyy with 90 villagers. Not many halberdiers here for Liereyy either. This is such a messy moment. I love Supremacy. I love when it works, and it can work. But I think it's not helping Lierey's situation. It's helping Lierey's situation in one aspect, but it's hurting it in the other because he doesn't have eco. Viper has plenty of eco to keep making things. Liereyy hanging in there, still creating more villagers. Now he's going to get raided from by hussars on this side. But Viper stalled with production for a moment. Liereyy actually has more numbers. 45 for Liereyy, 37 for Viper. Viper had the res to replenish his forces. Let's see. Supremacy could have been the game-saving move. The Conquistadors finally have some time to go raid Viper's economy. Viper could have a real wood problem. I guess that's going to be much later, but if he's pushed forward to this wood, you can tell he doesn't like the wood lines he has access to. Liereyy has had time to breathe. They're sharing the gold now. They are working on a peace treaty or something, I guess. Conquistador's running away. Viper's on this stone. Of all stones to find, he's on that stone. For more castles, mainly for map control. He's been trying to raid with a few hussars, if you haven't noticed. Also, Viper could find that relic. That's crazy. He went around the castles and found that relic. Ah, Viper wants to castle here. Yeah, this would be a great castle position. This would cement his position on Lierey's gold. And it's looking tough for Liereyy. Viper on this gold. Viper will be on this gold. If anyone comes back, it's Liereyy, but he can't eco-raid. Viper's even gonna snag this gold now. But Viper's just starving him out. I don't think Liereyy has what it takes with this civilization and with his economy to actually push. I think he can hold, but eventually that'll be impossible with the lack of gold. I just don't see any way out for Liereyy. I would love for there to be a way out for him. But versus Elite Skirmisher and Imperial Camel, the Spanish really struggle here, and Viper's snagging more relics, he has more gold piles, he has better map control. This is all a product of the strength of his camels and his monks, and Viper's even going to sell some food so he can bank up more gold. I think he's going to sell because he knows Liereyy is going to sell. Viper was down 3-1. He has a nice score lead now. I'm really happy with how poor the camels do versus the halberdiers now, so I think that change was necessary, and it's been working. Liereyy needs to keep every single gold unit he has alive because he's not going to have the gold numbers. Also, you can see the scouting was much better for Viper. Normally, your scouting is better if you have the control he had, but still. Viper found that stone, he found the relic that was down here earlier, he also has this gold, and Liereyy has no clue it's even there. I keep doubting the Spanish, I keep doubting Liereyy, but his population isn't awful at all. He continues to hang around. Mr. Person, Liereyy has, in the two big tournaments that Liereyy played, where Viper was in, he lost in the final game in the final to Viper. It went down to the final game every single time. So this, again, is a best of 7. This is not a tournament, but still, lots of people watching this now. This, again, is a matchup where it looks like Liereyy might lose in the final game, so he's the only person that can take Viper to the very end. He's the only person that can really compete. And he's doing one heck of a job to stay alive in this game. 165 population. He doesn't have any gold, does he? No gold. No mining camps collecting gold. He just has that one relic, and that's it. Viper has like 5 golds. 1, 2, 3. He has the relics. He has the stone. Or had the stone. This is absolutely insane. But again, as I said, I don't think Viper is trying to win the game in one big push. I think he knows that Liereyy needs to do that. He needs to simply hold his advantage. He's obviously unconvinced with skirmishers because he's adding in his own halps now. He notices that the hussars are now being spammed by Liereyy, so he needs halberdiers in front. The Viper got back over here now with his hussars. Hold on a second. I thought he got that relic a long time ago. This monk has just ninja'd his way by to save that relic. That's hilarious. Like, that's incredible. They can do so much at the same time. They're literally having a battle over this stone, which is in Lierey's corner. And Viper got a relic that was next to Lierey's woodline behind his castles. And he can get this relic now. He's actually mined his way towards that. Onager for Viper. Look at the resources Viper has been banking up. He knows that he can take losses. He knows that Liereyy can't take losses as easily. 2k gold, 2k food, everything he needs for camels, enough stone for another castle. This monk is gonna give him his 3rd relic. And then he can get this one if he pays attention to it, and I'm sure he will. Halberdier v Halberdier. But a lot more units for Liereyy. I think Viper needs to be careful. He doesn't have the military numbers. He has the resources. But perhaps he has too many villas or something. Because Lierey's going to kill this castle at this rate. And then Liereyy might be able to get a breath of fresh air. Might be able to just squeak by and get this gold while Viper's trying to get the rest of the map control. You know, you only have 200 pop. I think Viper's realizing this now. Oh crap, I need to get some more camels over here fast. Let's go. Let's go. Liereyy has more population. I don't know how, but he has more population. He is staying alive here. And he can take this gold if he needs it. Unfortunately, it's only about 500, but that's enough for a decent amount of siege and conquistadors. Liereyy got guilds, but he doesn't have the resources to sell. He's running out of wood as well. Interesting. I guess you can take that. Here comes Viper's production now. But Liereyy is going to take out his production building, so that'll force Viper to make more stables, make more barracks. Viper's still going to try and raid with hussars. But Lierey's prepared for that with the Halberdiers there. Can Liereyy do this? This is kind of a tease. I mean, Viper has had so much gold control and relic control that he should have probably finished off this game. Is definitely a tease if Liereyy ends up losing this. I still feel like Viper has a big edge. He sends in the camels now. Lierey's gonna micro with the conquistadors to get value out of them. He's lost all of his trebuchets. Viper has overwhelmed him with the camel numbers. Not enough numbers of halberdiers for Liereyy. He's still not dead, but Viper now has 20 more population. Viper now almost at 200 total population. And the Hussars are actually in here and might get a couple vill kills. They are raiding against Supremacy villagers. So the villagers have so much army they won't die very fast. Yeah, Viper is... He used the stop hotkey there. He tried to surround the conquistadors. Very nice surround. And I think it is just snowballing, as it should at this point, because of Viper's resource control. Can Liereyy survive? Oh, hand cannons now. That's something we haven't seen from Indians yet. We saw the skirmishers earlier. Hand cannons will do very good against the Hussars, and they will do good against the halberdiers. It'll do better for the versus everything, pretty much. So, a much better move. Below 100 villagers now for Liereyy. He's getting pushed. He has units all around his base, swarming. Plenty of idols, 30 idols. He can't deal with the camel speed. He can't deal with the camels. Look at this. Camel here, camels here, halberdier here. Viper's all over him. And then on the front, Viper continues to mass, and Viper holds on to that gold. Okay, so Liereyy spotted this. I wonder if he knew there was gold there. I mean, all the gold's been taken already. Too little, too late from him. And Lierey's resources for you, for those interested. 400 wood, 200 gold. He's, of course, queuing up units, so he has a lot more than that, but... He's now dropped below 80 villagers. He's now 50 population behind. He definitely has the disadvantage with the Civ and the technologies available for him. And I think it's just getting closer to a very, very sad ending to this best of 7 for Liereyy fans. I think Lierey's got to be... this is why I want Liereyy to win one of these sets of games. Because he lost 2 finals in the final game versus Viper. He obviously has the skill. And King of the Desert, he got... like, completely screwed by the map. And here, I don't know, he played very well, but the Civ was always going to be tough for him. You can't talk about single games, though. You got to talk about games that Liereyy could have won previously. You have to talk about the fact that Liereyy left this Civ for now and didn't use it earlier. And because he left it for the last game, Viper banked up his Indians, and Viper wins the best of 7. Holy crap. It's always a pleasure to cast these guys. Always a pleasure. The games were amazing. There was maybe one game which was short and kind of dull. I think that was the Celts and Britons game. But this particular game was awesome. Paladin, who's a Chinese streamer, organized this. They put $200 in for the best of 7. Viper gets a little bit more rich. Liereyy hopefully gets a bit more hungry and not more frustrated, because it could be easy for him to get down on himself now after coming so close versus the Viper. Especially when Viper is already, like, they're already singing Viper's name in folklore, right? So, I'm really happy this kid's in the community. He's an insane player. Always good to have Viper in the community, of course. And both of them are pretty active right now, so this is an amazing time for Age of Empires 2. Here are the resources. Pretty strong KD, but there's the eco difference. Viper knew he was in control. He had the extra golds. Someone asked me in the chat, is this one of those games that you know is over while you're casting? And I didn't really keep that quiet, did I? I mean, I felt like Viper would never let that slip. Even if his palms got a little bit sweaty, mom spaghetti. But yeah, the position Viper was in Imperial was going to be too hard to break for Liereyy. I was pretty certain of that. There's everything you might want to see, guys. If you see this on YouTube or the VOD on Twitch, you could just click and pause it right now if you want to take another look here. It went to the Imperial Age. It went about an hour in. Crazy set of games. Let me congratulate the players real quick. And yeah, it wasn't a tournament, so I don't think we're going to do interviews or anything. But thinking back, I think the one game that Liereyy could have done better with was the Celts vs. Britons game. Maybe he could have called his re then, because that was the only game where Liereyy he played really weird. If you didn't happen to see the previous games, though, you have to see all of them. You have to see game 2 especially. That was a crazy game. It went almost 2 hours into it. I thought Liereyy had it. I thought Viper had it. It just never stopped. Had a good time there. So, let's